Do you think men are okay with femininity in themselves or in other men? Oh god, that's such a loaded question. I certainly know that in my life I have felt sort of not masculine enough in the past.
At least with people my age, like 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, I think there's a lot of this. Dudes, even the more masculine ones, are happy to wear nail polish or will compliment their friends' nail polish. I think that's cool. Yeah, I think we're definitely moving in that direction.
I like to paint my nails black. I don't see anything wrong with it. As you age, I've definitely felt really insecure with some of the things said.
Men are absolutely afraid of femininity in themselves and other men. They're just socialized from a young age to, not be feminine. Don't cry, don't be like a girl, or you hit like a girl.
And I think it's probably difficult for people to come to terms with the fact that they can be emotional and can be vulnerable.
Whenever a man is feminine, it immediately calls into question their sexuality.
Yes.
Has anyone ever made you feel like you're not manly enough?
Definitely, I'd probably say my dad. He's a great man. He's a really good man, but I like to paint my nails black. I don't see anything wrong with it. He just has that judging look on his face, and I'm just trying to teach him that it's okay.
When I was probably primary school, year 7, stuff like that, I was not very masculine, and I would see all the guys playing footy and and I just felt like, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't masculine. I never shared how I was feeling.
Not really. Yeah, I've grown up in a very open, supportive family. I think maybe when I was little, my dad might have not wanted me to play with Barbies, but I'm sure if I played with Barbie dolls now, my dad would be fine with it.
Yeah, I looked like an egg when I was in year 7. It certainly meant that the footy boys were pick on their egg-shaped kid that plays clarinet.
No, that's dope. You just gotta look the part. You gotta shirt off. That's peak masculinity.
Have you ever felt pressure to be always up for sex? Yeah, I have. It's not a great feeling.
My first girlfriend, I had no prior experience and she was very into it.
There's been certain occasions where I feel when I'm not always horny, it's so hard to explain because it's that weird of a feeling.
Once I started, experimenting with the ladies, I did feel this kind of pressure from my friend group that you gotta always be, I wanna hook up with whoever, what.
I more just needed some reassurance from my partner, and that was it. I think reassurance is a really big deal with that, especially if you're a guy and you aren't, always wanting sex. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. Everything's normal. You're just human. Can't do much about it.
Have you ever struggled to talk about your feelings with mates? How did you overcome it? Yes, I have. Sometimes I feel really comfortable talking to my best mate or just some randoms, but there are some things that build up and I never talk to my mates about.
I have definitely struggled with my mates trying to explain just how I felt. I was really suicidal at a point in my life, and luckily I recovered from that. But it was really hard to talk about it to my best friend. I always felt nervous when he asked me if I was okay. It just become a point where I just lie to my friends. I'd just say, oh, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing fine.
It's good to vent out, express yourself, what your feelings. You might learn something, Every problem has a solution.
Yeah, it's purely a mental barrier, and just the fact it is better for me to talk about this with my mate.
I think it's always important being honest with your friends. Honesty is a massive deal. How would you call out a mate who is sometimes disrespectful towards women?
I just give them a little lecture, make them uncomfortable so they don't do it again. I feel the need to run my mouth and tell them what it is, so...
I guess approach it in a gentle way. Yeah, I don't think it has to be all or nothing.
I have heard my friend talk about women in a condescending way. He'll talk about women as he sees it in porn. I'll always tell him, why you treat me different to someone who is a female.
Yeah, maybe just hey, let's go to the toilet or let's go get a drink and just say, hey man, watch what you're saying. And then, afterwards, chat to them the next day, have a follow-up conversation, help educate that person.
Would you do that if it was your sister or your mum? Would you enjoy if somebody was saying that stuff about the women that you love, chances are you wouldn't. So don't do it to someone else. It's pretty simple.
I never pretended I'm okay when I'm not, so others wouldn't think I'm weak.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like when you get hit in sport or something, it's like, don't rub it. Yeah, that's the shout from everyone. Don't rub it, or else you look like a pussy, I guess. Or maybe that is toxic. Am I toxic?
I think I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I think that might be a little bit toxic.
I don't pretend anything. I show my feelings to people. I want to show them like I'm tough. I'm this, but like sometimes I show like I'm like sad and stuff, but like I don't care. Like it's about what I want to do, not what they think of me.
It's good to teach that like you stay resilient and stuff, but I think there's like a threshold, you know? We should be able to say our feelings.
Yeah.
Whatnot.
If you are struggling with mental health, it's just going to get worse and worse if you don't speak, and you should rather be seen as like not masculine than miserable all the time.
True or false? Men struggle to talk about their feelings with their mates.
Ding. True.
I'd say it is true.
I think it is true.
Generally, it'd be yes, but I'd say personally, no, it's correct, wrong. Between close friends, I reckon behind closed doors, men are very open with each other.
Yeah.
Like me and him, we could talk about anything.
The closer the friend, the easier it is just to be able to talk about certain topics.
A lot of my friends kind of feel like they're putting baggage on their friends when they talk about their mental health or sexual health or anything like that, and it's sometimes seen as not masculine enough.
Like I tell them straight that it's not weak to be able to, you know, speak up and let someone know how you feel.
I do think there is that stigma still, but I think that it's much less and less nowadays. This new generation, like a couple of years younger than me, I think they're a lot more open with each other about deep and personal things.
What does the idea of toxic bro culture mean to you?
This is a good one.
This one really annoys me.
Like when they're around other guys, they have to try to be really cocky and like be the bro, be the like, oh yeah, she's just the hot chick. Like, yeah. Completely switches.
Yeah, when they're with you versus when they're with their friends in a group. It's
They have to be
different.
cooler. Yeah.
Having all of these people that probably, like say this group of guys, they probably don't actually feel that way, but because their friends do, they all just pretend that they are this person.
Every time I'm off doing something with my girlfriend, or he'll say, oh, dickhead, like come hang out with me or play video games or whatever, and sometimes I just feel really pressured. It gets toxic. It just doesn't make you want to be friends with them.
And they don't get that the next person actually doesn't want to be that person. So it's just like a loop of...
Yeah. It becomes just ingrained in them a little bit too much.
Why do you think some men struggle to talk about their feelings?
Ooh boy.
I do think it's something conditioned in us from when we're young. I feel like it is less so now, which is really good.
Yeah, I do speak to my friends when I have a rough time, and I'm probably really lucky to have great friends, so I can have that relationship.
Between close friends, I reckon behind closed doors, men are very open with each other. With Ryan here, I can talk about anything. Probably get weirded out sometimes, but it's all good.
So I think the toxic masculinity in our world has created a vision of men where they have to be this masculine, manly, you know, like men don't cry, sort of.
Must be strong, must never show emotion.
Like, men have been idolized to, you know, do all the hard work, do all that stuff, and you know, everyone's like, oh, you know, my man's, you know, he cries, he's emotional, that's so cute. But it's like, that's feelings, that's just
like
raw
basic.
emotion.